Okay, hello. This is how to make patches. So what you're gonna need is you're gonna need some acrylic paint, white and black, tape, thread, black and white, whichever, whatever you want to do, a pencil, an X-Acto knife, 2 paintbrushes, scissors, cardstock, you can't really see it, but cardstock, notebook paper, canvas, black or white. It's a lot of black and white here, you'll see why. And Google Images. Alrighty, so what I did was I went on Google Images and I found what I want to make a patch of. So what I'm gonna do is I've turned the brightness all the way up on my computer. That'll help you with this next step, which is you take your notebook paper, bring it up to your computer, and you've got the outlines for your stencil. You're gonna want to cut your notebook paper out to the shape, a little bigger than this shape, because what you're gonna do with that is tape it on. So yeah, use your scissors to cut out the notebook paper, and then tape it on, and then use your pencil, sketch it out. Alrighty, so as you can see, I'm just taking my pencil, tracing right on there. And if you don't get the shape exactly, it's okay, because your X-Acto knife will make it a little more straight when you do cut it. Alrighty, so as you can see, I'm just taking my pencil, tracing right on there. And if you don't get the shape exactly, it's okay, because your X-Acto knife will make it a little more straight when you do cut it. Alrighty, so I've got my patch here, it's all done, I all traced it out. So I'm just gonna take this off my computer, and there we go, transfer it down to the cardstock. Just tape that guy down, and I kind of taped over the edges here. You can just, oopsie, it's hard to do this with one hand, fold that in, and fold that in. Okay, so now it's taped down to your cardstock, and we're just gonna cut out the shape that we made here so that it's easier to work with. Alrighty, for this next step, I recommend working under some light, because that's a lot easier. Now it's going to be the semi-hard kind of step. This is going to be the hardest part of patching, so don't freak out because it's not too hard. You're going to take your X-Acto knife and cut out the shape that you made with your stencil. What I recommend, for me personally, I really dig deep with the X-Acto knife because I do not know my own strength. So get a little piece of cardboard down there. As you can see, this is sort of my patchworking cardboard. It is definitely well loved. So yeah, just put that on top of there, grab your X-Acto knife, and start cutting my guy. Alrighty, so as you can see, I'm just straight up cutting through the cardstock and the notebook paper. And once you cut them out, they're pretty easy to get out. You just gotta move it a little bit, and bam. You just gotta cut it out, go right through it. Alrighty, so now it's all cut out. Let's take this off, see how it looks. Moment of truth. Oh god, it's hideous. Just kidding. It actually looks pretty good. So yeah, once we get this part off, we will move on to the next step, and I'm sure that yours looks pretty good too. Alrighty, so now it's all cut out. Let's take this off, see how it looks. Moment of truth. Oh god, it's hideous. Just kidding. It actually looks pretty good. So yeah, once we get this part off, we will move on to the next step, and I'm sure that yours looks pretty good too. Alrighty, so as you can see, I've cut out the outstanding edges. What that is a lot of space in between the patch shape, or the stencil, and the cardstock. So now we're going to take our canvas. I'm using black for this because black is a lot easier to work with. It's easier to cover mistakes if you make any. And we're just going to cut out about the size of the patch, a little bit bigger, because you'll be using your thread in a little bit. But yeah, just cut out a shape that is your patch shape. Alrighty, so as you can see, I've cut out the outstanding edges. What that is a lot of space in between the patch shape, or the stencil, and the cardstock. So now we're going to take our canvas. I'm using black for this because black is a lot easier to work with. It's easier to cover mistakes if you make any. And we're just going to cut out like about the size of the patch, a little bit bigger because you'll be using your thread in a little bit. But yeah, just cut out like a shape that is your patch shape. Alrighty, so we've got our cloth cut out. We've got our stencil. I'm gonna just put that down there. Put it like right in the middle. So that way when you do sew it up, it won't it'll be nice. Gonna take our strips of tape and just tape down the corners. Nice and careful. This prevents your patch from moving around when you paint it. Alrighty, our patch is all taped down. For this next step, you're going to need your big paintbrush and black acrylic paint. It doesn't matter what brand necessarily. I've used all sorts of brands of acrylic paint, but just as long as you get a nice even coat on there. So, I'm going to take a little bit, not that little, just kind of get from the sides and start painting it down like that. Alrighty, so this is all relatively dry. It's a little tiny bit wet, but we can work with it. So for this next step, we're going to need our little paintbrush and white acrylic. So let's get to it. So again, just like a little tiny bit, you don't need much, and just paint over that stencil. And we've taken our stencil off. Ta-da! It's all down there. It's looking nice. And if we got like a little smudgy edge right there, once the white dries, we can just go on ahead and paint that over in black. But for the most part, I mean, it looks pretty good. Alrighty, we're nearly there. All we have to do is just sew it on up. So for this, I'm going to use some black thread, but you can use whatever kind of thread you want. You can use like white or like any color. All I have is black and white thread, so, you know, that's what I'm kind of stuck to. But yeah, I'm just going to use black thread through this, you know, get your needle all ready. And we're just going to fold over the design. Or not fold over, but like just over the design, so that we have a little space to hem it up. Alrighty, so there's one side done, and then we're just going to do the same thing for the other 3 sides. And congratulations, you created your own awesome patch. You can put them on any of your crust wears. I'm probably going to put these on my crust pants. Yeah, congratulations, you did it.